Hey guys, Dan here. In this video here, I want to go over the best places to find retro video games or video games in general if you want to collect them, or there's a lot of people here on YouTube they resell. But for me, I like to collect. But I want to give you top few places where I go to get my video games for my collection. All right, the first one I want to talk about here is Goodwill. There's a lot of them around here in New Hampshire. I like to go and peek in, see what games I can find and everything. Sometimes I find other stuff like DVDs and stuff like that too. But I basically go in there with my wife. She looks for her stuff. I go in for mine. But if I don't find anything, I just go to the next place like Savers. That's a Goodwill light place. But if you haven't been to a Goodwill for video games, I highly recommend them. They're cheap and you can probably find some gems in there. All right, the next one I want to talk about here is flea markets. This one my wife and I recently started going to as of last year and everything. And we can find some very good video game deals and everything there. You can find a lot of retro games and everything too as well. There's like everything from today's games, vintage games, the games for Xbox, Xbox One, 360, PlayStation, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. Then if you want retro, you can go find NES games, Super Nintendo games, Atari 2600, etc. There's a lot of good finds in there. And also too, I got my sports car collector. I'm in sports memorabilia, so I get to find a lot of good stuff in there. So it's all good prices and everything too. So I highly recommend you go look in there if you haven't, because you can probably find some good deals in the flea market instead of paying like top of the market and everything for them. All right, next thing I want to talk about here is antique malls or antique shops. Again, I like to go to these to find some video games, and also too like for sports memorabilia. But you don't really find as many video games here in antique malls. Maybe you can find them in other spots in the U.S. better. But New Hampshire here, it's very hit or miss. Yeah, I found some good games there, but for my luck, I found mostly sports memorabilia stuff. But you have to go. There's a lot of antique malls and everything. You have to go to different ones. Like some have a lot, others don't have as much. But I think you find anything good there, great, grab it. If not, just go to the next place. And last but not least here, I want to talk about here is yard sales. Right now it's winter time here, so it's hard to go and find any yard sale stuff right now. But I highly recommend if you having a hard time finding games for your collection, like retro games and everything. Some people are just like moving or just trying to get rid of their old collections and everything. I found a number of good video games for my collection in yard sales and everything. But I think that's a good spot to at least start or look for. I think you can find a lot of different stuff, like some people's junk is some people's treasure. So I always like going to yard sales, especially during the summertime and everything. You just never know where you can find. Again, you can find like sports cards, sports memorabilia, but for me, I like to look for a lot of like video games and stuff like that. So I'd highly recommend you give that a try. And that's pretty much the start of a few places where I wanted to show you, talk about and everything too. Like I said, flea markets, antique malls, yard sales, and Goodwills and /Savers. You can find a lot of good stuff in those places for your video game collections. Also, too, you can go to retro video games. Like, GameStop has like retro game stops and everything. But I recommend you go there sooner rather than later, because all those are closing down now too. GameStop's not doing too good right now. But and then also too, there's like you can go to arcades in different places. Sometimes you can find games there off to the side and everything, or just like retro video games itself. Like there's few and far between here where I am. But I know like other YouTubers have been having a better time finding games for their collection and reselling and all that. But for me, I want to make this clear, I'm not a reseller or anything like that. I just collect for my video games collection, and same thing with my sports memorabilia collection. If you see my other videos, my video games and my sports memorabilia, I collect it for stuff that I like. So I'm not a reseller, just collect for what I like. And let me know what you guys think about it. If there's any other places you guys like to go and that you recommend me or I haven't been to, please comment down below. I'll listen here, and go from there. But also too, before I forget, one last thing. I'm going to conventions. That's another one last thing I wanted to mention, conventions is a good spot too. I haven't been to a video game convention, but I'm going to the one up in Boston here coming up at the end of the month. But yeah, you can find, this is one of the biggest ones around me, so I'm going to look for games on my game list here too. If you want to see my game list, I'll post a picture up here for it. And yeah, like I said, if I forgot anything, please let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Thank you guys. This video is also brought to you by Doobie Energy. Feeling tired and have no energy, I highly recommend you give them a try. They give me enough energy to do these videos, and they're well worth it. If you use promo code Dan19 at checkout, you get 10% off. I'll leave a link to the website and my promo code, and give them a chance. I think you'll like them. And thank you guys who made it this far. Thank you again. Please like and subscribe for more content. I do video game content, video game reviews, console stuff, and also sports memorabilia stuff too. All right, let me know what you guys think. Thank you. Like and subscribe.